Racing to the 2020 Breeders' Cup, and this time let's get an update on the 2020 Breeders' Cup Sprint. And this is usually one of my most favorite races on the card, as we get a chance to see usually one or two good performances. Sometimes we get a pace meltdown, sometimes we get a raw speedball on the front end. And this year we've got an interesting matchup of some lightly raced younger horses versus some of the veteran warriors. And I think some of these lightly raced horses are going to get a chance at facing a bigger field and some fast fractions and some intense pace pressure, which can kind of impact the final speed figure on some of these horses. Let's start off with Vekoma, who is probably the division favorite. He's got a 118 Equibase speed figure. That was in the Met Mile. He's 3 for 3 in 2020, 6 for 8 lifetime. Going to be coming off a long layoff. He's dealt with a foot injury ever since his victory in the Met Mile. He's been on the work tab. He's got 4 workouts since coming back on the work tab, and we'll have to see how he progresses. Still an option for him to consider the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Now, Nashville is one of those lightly raced horses, 2 for 2 lifetime, a 113 Equibase speed figure in his most recent start. That was at Keeneland. Steve Asmussen trains, and a lot of hype on this one after the big speed figure in the last race. But he is lightly raced, got to face older horses, got to face more pace pressure, and he might not get that easy lead that he was able to get at Keeneland. Whitmore is one of the veterans. This 7-year-old seems to bring his race every time. He would definitely be one that can come from off the pace, and he also is kind of used to the wars, and so I think this type of horse, he's ran on an off track, he's ran against big fields. Whitmore definitely trying to expand his career resume and try to pick up a win in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Firenze Fire got here with a nice win in his last effort, the Vogsburg, a grade 2. Been a little bit in and outer this year in 2020, but he's got some back class, and he's got some speed figures in the past that put him competitively in the mix here. I think him and Vekoma will vie for a lot of the favoritism in the race. Then you've got Yaupon, another lightly raced horse, 4 for 4 lifetime, another one trained by Steve Asmussen. Uncle Mo is the sire, a raw speedball, yet to face a real challenge, yet to really get hooked on that front end, and I think he might be the one that really isn't ready up for a challenge of facing likes of Whitmore, Vekoma, and Firenze Fire facing some of that heat on the front end. Now, Echo Town had some good speed figures earlier this spring at Oaklawn Park that would put him in the mix, but he's kind of regressed off that and definitely hasn't improved this summer. See if he can get back on the beam, possibly considering the Breeders' Cup Dirt Sprint. And then you've got Frank's Rocket, the filly, taking on the boys. This is one who's 6 for 10 lifetime, 2 grade 2s and a grade 3. Now she's got to step it up to grade 1 company, but I think 6 furlongs is her game, and sometimes you see that in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Some horses, the 7 furlong horses usually can do well if there's a pace collapse, but some horses just are better at 6 furlongs, and I think Frank's Rocket, with the Into Mischief breeding and the raw speed, she seems to bring her race every time, and she's just shown that a little bit of ability to rate in the last couple of races that could make her a strong contender. Meanwhile, Empire of Gold almost won the race the last time out at Keeneland, 50-1, led every step of the way, and then got caught in the final stride. Empire of Gold probably going to be a long shot again, but good form and has speed, and sometimes in these big races a horse doesn't necessarily go out to the lead. They can be brave on that front end. So an interesting look at the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Vekoma definitely the heavy hitter on the front end, but you've also got Frank's Rocket, Nashville, and Yaupon getting some play. We've already taken a look at the top 8 contenders for the Distaff, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and the Juvenile Fillies. Make sure to watch those videos as we kind of take a deep dive, take a look at some of the pace scenarios. We're going to do that more next week with the Classic, maybe the Distaff, and a few of the other races. Hit subscribe, share this video with all your horse racing friends, and remember, ring that bell for notifications as we lead you up to the 2020 Breeders' Cup.